wedding at Cana, a miracle of joy. In a small village called Cana, nestled in the hills of Galilee, there was a joyful celebration taking place. A wedding. The whole village was buzzing with excitement. The bride and groom were surrounded by their family and friends, all gathered together to celebrate their love. Among the guests were Jesus, his mother Mary, and his disciples. The wedding feast was filled with laughter, music, and dancing. Tables were piled high with delicious food, and everyone was having a wonderful time. But as the celebration went on, something troubling happened. The wine ran out. In those days, running out of wine at a wedding was a big problem. It was seen as a great embarrassment for the hosts, and the joy of the party could quickly turn into disappointment. Mary noticed the worried looks on the faces of the servants and quietly went to her son, Jesus. "They have no more wine," she said, her voice filled with concern. Jesus looked at his mother with love and understanding. He knew what she was asking, even though she didn't say it directly. But Jesus also knew that his time to reveal his power hadn't yet come. Still, he respected his mother's request. With a gentle smile, he said, "Woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come." But Mary, confident in her son's ability, turned to the servants and said, "Do whatever he tells you." She trusted that Jesus would find a way to help, even if she didn't know how. Nearby, there were 6 large stone jars, each holding about 20 to 30 gallons of water. These jars were used for ceremonial washing, a tradition in those days. Jesus told the servants, "Fill the jars with water." The servants did as they were told, filling each jar to the brim. Then Jesus said, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." The servants, a bit puzzled but obedient, took a cupful of the water and brought it to the master of the banquet, the person in charge of the feast. The master of the banquet took a sip, and his eyes widened in surprise. He didn't know where this drink had come from, but he could tell it was no ordinary wine. It was the best wine he had ever tasted. He called the bridegroom over and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best until now." The bridegroom was just as amazed as everyone else. What had started as a potential disaster had turned into something extraordinary. The guests continued to celebrate, and the joy of the wedding feast was restored, even greater than before. This was the first miracle Jesus performed, turning water into wine at the wedding in Cana. It wasn't just about making sure the party continued. It was a sign, a glimpse of who Jesus really was. Through this miracle, Jesus showed his disciples and everyone there that God's power was with him and that he cared about even the smallest details of their lives. The story of Jesus turning water into wine is more than just a tale of a wedding feast saved from disaster. It's a reminder that Jesus brings joy and transformation into our lives. Just as he turned ordinary water into extraordinary wine, he can take the ordinary moments of our lives and fill them with wonder, love, and grace. And it shows us that when we trust in Jesus, miracles can happen, even in the most unexpected ways. The end.